Welcome back. It is now time to talk about spring cleaning. So spring is in the air, which means it's time to clean up our houses. So our next guest, who's been here a few times before, Hilda Rogers, is telling us on how to exactly do that. So welcome to the show, Hilda.
Thanks for having me.
So Hilda, the first question is, it can be so overwhelming to start cleaning the house. So could you give us some tips on how to start that process?
Sure. Well, the thing with cleaning that is often a challenge is that there's stuff in the way. So like before you can vacuum, you have to pick up the clothes off the floor. And before you can dust, you have to, move all the things that have accumulated on your dresser. So the best thing for spring cleaning is to really do some decluttering. And so what I want to share is some tips for how to get started doing that. And I always say start with the easiest thing, like pick that low fruit off the tree kind of thing. So clothes, like we all have way too many clothes and we outgrow them or they change style or they get worn out. So start with your clothes and just go through and declutter anything that you haven't worn.
Okay, that's the hardest thing because as a woman, you go to your closet and you're like, I love everything. I can't let it go.
I was going to say.
That one day when I go to the event,
I will find it.
But isn't that the rule though? If you haven't worn something in 6 months or in a year, throw it out.
Huma, can you throw something out? If you can do it, I will go home and spring clean my closet.
So I'm going to show you a little trick for that in the next segment that will help it make it easier for you to know what you've worn and what you haven't worn. But really just go through what you can and think about whether I've worn it in the past year or so. Do I love it? Does it really look good on me? Do people compliment me when I wear it? Or has my body shape changed a little bit and maybe it doesn't fit quite as well as it used to, or it's getting so worn out because I've worn it so many times. Can I pass it down to somebody else or have it recycled or whatever? So.
Does anybody else here get like emotionally attached to clothing? There's certain pieces
Every
of clothing,
piece in my closet
everything
has a memory.
Yeah, I'm like that with t-shirts and stuff.
For
like
sure.
old t-shirts. I have t-shirts like from like since I was in high school. I can't throw those away.
And I have a whole series actually on decluttering sentimental items.
Really?
Yeah, so you can check that out on my blog.
I need that one. Yeah. Very nice. And so what about like getting your family involved? How do we get our whole family involved in this process to make it a big family affair?
Yeah, so the key is to make it fun. So, I mean, kids don't want to do things that are like too much like a chore, right? Because then they're, So, make it fun. Put on some music, do it all together as a family. Peter Walsh, who's great at organizing and decluttering, he's why I became a professional organizer. He has something called the trash bag tango. So he says you take a bag in one hand for garbage and a bag in one hand for donations. And you walk, each person in the family has their own bags.
Okay.
They walk through the house, you've got the music blaring, you go for 10 or 15 minutes and you just find things that are garbage that should have been thrown out that weren't, and things that you're not using anymore that can be donated and given away. And at the end of your 10 or 15 minutes, you've had fun and you've gotten rid of a whole pile of stuff out of your house. It's gone, it's done.
I'm just trying to visualize right now if this would work in my family, but I don't know if that would work. I think people would, maybe cleaning Tundra, maybe that would work.
Music on it.
I would be concerned about my husband's bags and what he thinks is garbage or recycling versus what I think.
I was going to say, so what if you have that one hoarder in the family that doesn't want to throw anything out?
Well, that's a little bit
parents
different.
are like that. They're like, I bought that for, $50 30 years ago. I don't want to throw it out.
Exactly, and that is South Asian mentality, right?
It is true. It's very challenging, and you have to kind of work with things over time. Some spouses are less likely to want to get rid of things maybe than you are, and so you just have to kind of model it after a while, help them to see how much more space you have in your home when you have less stuff, how much less time you're spending looking for things that are lost, how much less, just in general, how much more freedom you have in your home, how much better it feels.
And I must say, like, as hard as it is to get started, once you actually declutter your home and you have that empty space, you actually feel so much better about yourself.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I love it. You can get addicted to decluttering, honestly.
I wouldn't go that far. So you know everything when it comes to decluttering. So could you tell us a little bit about any new trends or what's new in the world of decluttering?
Sure. Well, two things. One is that there is a real trend towards minimalism, and it's very popular these days. You see articles about it all the time. And so people want to live with less stuff. They just don't want to have to be looking for things all the time. They don't want to have to clean around things all the time and maintain stuff. So that's one really big popular trend. The other is the opposite. The storage industry is growing in leaps and bounds because people don't have enough space in their homes for the stuff that they want to hold on to. So a lot of those sentimental items, things that have been passed down, stuff you don't use every day is still, there's no room for it in your home. And so you get a storage locker and you shove it all there.
Even the way the homes are constructed, like the closets are, bigger, but the rooms are smaller. Just the shape, it's just a change in the way people are living, I think.
And homes have actually increased three times in size in the last 50
And
years.
condos as well. That's
Yeah.
a huge thing where people are moving into condos, and that condo life, how much can you keep in a
Right.
condo, right?
So the key is really to find comfort in the fact that you're not alone. If you have a lot of clutter, you might see Pinterest images and Facebook and stuff
Yeah.
where your friends all have these perfect homes. They don't. They're
So
only showing you the
it's not
perfect
there. It's
part,
the
right?
perfect image, and that's
Yes.
something all of us have to learn. So Hilda, we're not going to let you go anywhere because right after the break, we're actually going to show you some real life demos on how to declutter your home.